What's going on, people? So I got to thinking, our Wonder Battles is actually in a couple of hours, and it reminded me, hello, you got hours of footage, so why don't you edit it down? So that's exactly what I did. Now, here, I was gonna go ahead and rally this Tempest Fort, and it was being held by Zeror. But what we actually ended up doing before was carpet the rally into the fort, because for whatever reason, he knew that our timer was down to 0. And he was just in monster gear. I guess he was just waiting to swap over to his actual war gear. So we took advantage of that and we carpeted it in before he could actually change his gear. So tip number 1, if you're ever doing fort battles, if somebody is rallying your fort, and especially if their timer is at 0, do not have anything other than your regular war gear, because if not, they can take advantage of that with carpets. So there goes the first rally. This one was going to be cavalry, and he ported away. I guess he wanted to see have a better shot at seeing what was coming, but that didn't really help him at all, just because of the composition and the heroes that he chose for these forts was kind of very questionable. It made me question if he just doesn't have army heroes or what was going on with that, because he just had like if you have an infantry hero, a cavalry hero, it makes sense if it's army, but when they're not, it's kind of like So there you go. We had about 150,000 more troops, give or take, but the damage was insane. The other one, the one that we caught him with monster gear, was actually over 1 million dead, and it was over, I believe it was over 100 million might. If I can get a picture of that, I'll go ahead and post it here, because it was it hurt. Okay, this was also before I had any sort of like familiars. That familiar talent for me, that's only a level 1, and he has 4 familiars unlocked. So yeah, it definitely had the advantage, but the damage was just very unproportionate. So I'm not really sure what that had to deal with outside of just his hero selection, because with forts, army heroes are key, and he just didn't have any of that. He had decent heroes like Big Guy and Steambot, and they're decent if they're like for that one specific troop, but when we're talking about forts, they don't really do you much good unless that's what you're really going to be doing. Now, on this one, I was doing this to withdraw the army in case both rallies, because it was being doubled at the time. I had 2 rallies coming at me, so if they were both going to come in, I was actually going to pull out, because one of the rallies was a mythic champion guy, and if I take one rally and then take the other guy's rally, that would have hurt. So here I'm being spammed, but when you're being spammed, that is what you're looking for, coalition troops. So enemy attacks, enemy scouts, what you're looking for is that one that looks different. Click on it, see exactly what's coming, and I see it's heroic fighters, heroic cannoneer, and then I take 2 seconds to go infantry phalanx, and boom, take the rally. And because of that, I was actually able to take this, because if I don't change that phalanx, I lose this. And then here, I definitely take, I get out of there, because even though the fort was at about 2 minutes or something along those lines, it was about to lock. When you're a rally leader, you have to make the best call for you and your guild. And we only had about like 2.5 million troops in that fort, and Woody is a mythic champion player with a full rally coming at me. I honestly did the best that I could there, and that was just to pull out of there, because a lot of rally leaders, they're just like, I can take this rally, but unfortunately there are just times when you just can't. Okay, so that last report right there, as you can tell, it was fairly close. So if I stay in the phalanx that I stayed in instead of going infantry phalanx, I would have lost that. So just keep that in mind when you're being spammed. Make sure that you're looking for that one that looks different, and then change it up. And then here's Woody. Again, he's mythic champion, so my chances are probably not very high of actually winning this. But the reason I stayed in the base this go around was because, one, my fort was full, and also number 2, it was about to lock. I think we only had like 2 or 3 minutes, or like 4 or 5. It was basically a one shot. They only had one shot to win, and if they failed, we would have actually gotten the base. But when you're fighting that right there, that's kind of hard to beat. Just saying, Woody is not your regular customer. But of course, situations call for different things, so also keep that in mind. But I think I didn't do too badly considering I'm going up against Mythic Champion, and at the time I didn't even have any sort of familiars. I just had a level 1 familiar, so yeah. But it is actually now our time to attack, and since I am not Mythic Champion, I don't really have the luxury of attacking a fort with mixed and expecting to win, especially against somebody like Woody. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and do a spear rally. And essentially a spear rally, if you don't already know, is when you send only one troop, you put all your gear, all your heroes, all your talents into that one troop, and you hope for the best. Now you see there's only 2 minutes left. And Woody's holding the base, so obviously not an easy customer. But I decided to go full infantry here, and there's a reason for that. Not only because of the heroes that were in the base, but also because of Woody's gear. If you notice, a lot of his gear is infantry ranged and very minimal cav. So I'm pretty sure that his cavalry is probably his lowest stat. So even if he does put cavalry up front, it's going to give me the best chance to win. So at this point, we're spamming. And even though my timer is already at 0, there is somebody else rallying, Gasato, over there in the top corner. And he's also a half gold champ, half mythic champ. Which we were kind of working with, but we didn't really have much communication. So it was kind of like touch and feel, just with whatever came up, we would go and do it, but we weren't like in a call or anything like that. So I go ahead and launch the rally because I mean the base is about to lock in, so it's either now or never. I actually go ahead and apply a 20% attack boost because I'm out of 50s. Okay, I'm poor on the attack, so I only got a 20. Put my infantry gear on and hope for the best, and we take it. So that was actually really close. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Even though we have to do a spear rally to take a person like Woody out of a base, I mean, to just be able to win is pretty damn good considering what we were going up against. So pretty proud of that. And then as soon as I get more familiars maxed out, etc., we should be doing even better. But I'm going to go ahead here and show you the report just to show you how close this was. But also keep in mind that my rally was a spear rally, so usually you always have the advantage going up against a mixed. But because of the gear difference and the hero difference, etc., it was a lot closer than most people would have taken a rally like this. So the good news is that now my familiars are, well, 2 of them are maxed and 1 is about to get maxed, and I got Don Guapo 2 gold, so I'm able to hold about 120,000 more troops. So definitely want to see what we can do in this next coming Wonder Battles. But here's what ended up happening after this, right? Because at this point, the base was at a 20-minute cooldown timer. Some of the forts were already getting locked in, and it was about to be pretty late. I think it was getting to be around midnight my time, so everything was kind of slowing down. And around this time, I went to feed the stray kitty. So by the time I came back, I felt like, okay, Woody and Gasato are gonna go at it in the base. They're probably gonna keep resetting each other, because you know they're very comparable as far as their gear. But I went to feed the stray kitty for like 20 minutes or something, and I come back and the base was like at 3 minutes. I'm like, what? And yeah, so that's what happened. But it is what it is. In here, I obviously had to not take this rally. 1, because it was not full. 2, I had the wrong heroes in there. And 3, well, the base still had like a good 14 minutes before reset. So it was just never going to be worth it to take that hit right there. But that's how it ended. A bunch of people went to the base. Woody took over the base, and I thought that Gasato was gonna, you know, keep attacking and resetting and give me a couple of minutes to fit the stray kitty. But I came back, and the base was pretty much already below 5 minutes, so I couldn't even rally it. And I saw CU go full calves, and the person that was rallying them canceled, so they must have been going full infantry with pretty much my mindset before, and they probably caught on that. But yeah, today is going to be a different day. We'll see how it goes. Appreciate you guys for watching. and until later.